What's my take on polygamy? We're going to talk about it.
I was just patient, never try skating. Fuck niggas hating.
It's a popular trend. I'm very clear in a lot of my videos on my previous lifestyle when I was out there in the streets and I was just moving around and I had multiple partners. Commitment wasn't in the picture. And for me, I've always believed in monogamy, but I was a scaredy cat. I was a little bit insecure. And so I was one of those guys who had multiple partners because it was like easy to avoid being hurt when you just don't really get that emotionally involved with a woman. And after many years of doing that, it was like I felt my wheels were turning and I wasn't getting any results, any positive results. I was getting nothing but negative results from my behavior. And when I hear people say that they're polyamorous, to me, if I was to become polyamorous, that's like going backwards for me. Because I've done all that. I don't feel deprived. That actually makes it, I feel empty messing with multiple people. And then I hear different versions of polygamy or polyamorous, where you have some guys that claim that it's an economic thing where you combine multiple incomes. I've watched the TV show, My Polyamorous Life or whatever it was called, where they all lived together and they had this big old house and all the kids and wives lived in the same house. And I saw all the drama that came with that. I thought it was just entertainment. You know, of course, if you watched that show too, you saw how it crumbled. So I don't really see any future in it personally. But, you know, here goes my take on it. First, I was this thought was fueled by a video I watched, I don't know, on Instagram, TikTok, somewhere. I know that the clip is from TikTok, but it's of the singer-songwriter Neo. And in real life, I actually knew his wife before she married him. And they were married for about 10 years. And then he cheated, and then they got divorced, and then he now has multiple girlfriends. And he was in an interview explaining his lifestyle. I'm going to just play the video for you, and then we'll be right back.
I am not shitting on marriage. I am not shitting on anyone who has figured out how to make that thing work for them. Mm-hmm. Again, everything's not for everybody. Monogamy's for you. Mm-hmm. It's not for me. I realize this. I know this now. And it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I realized I spent so much time lying and trying to be somebody that I wasn't for the sake of somebody else. Mm-hmm. Complete and utter time wasted when I could have just been exactly who I am, said exactly what I want, exactly how I'm rocking, exactly how I'm not, and then waited for those people to gravitate to me.
Alrighty. So, pretty much, he decided that after having a marriage and being in a monogamous relationship, that monogamy wasn't for him. And he decided that polygamy was a lifestyle that fit him, just like other celebrities. That's my little dude. So pretty much, I feel like it's an excuse. I feel like polygamy is an excuse to be a 304. And it's a better way of saying, I want to be a 304. It just sounds better. It just sounds like it takes the judgment out of it. It sounds like, it takes accountability for your actions out of it. It's definitely not a God-fearing way of living. And it definitely doesn't have any commitment attached to it. Of course, I already know men who believe in polygamy are going to justify it. They're going to say, oh, I got a big heart. I can be committed to multiple women. I don't think they understand what commitment is. But there's a definition I want to display on the screen. Let's check this out. It's a word that we are very familiar with. It's a word that women have been bashed for many years because of this type of behavior, but just check it out for a second. Promiscuous is having or characterized by many transient sexual relationships. This is something that women get defiled or demeaned or torn down for indulging in this activity. Oh, here goes a polygamous man that says, oh, it wasn't meant for women to have multiple partners. Polygamy is for men. So a woman is supposed to be committed to one man while the man can do whatever he wants. And then there's other polygamous men who say, okay, my wife or girlfriend, she can date other women, but she can't date other men. This is one thing you're going to hear across the board is that the woman cannot have another man. She can have another woman, but the man can have other women. Okay? He can have heterosexual relations while she has to have bisexual relations, if any. Okay? That's that's given the circumstances that he wants to grant her access to other women. I got a couple of pointers. If you are a man who thinks like me or a man who believes in monogamy, then you might find this entertaining. I don't plan to change anyone's mind. If you are a polygamous, man or woman, I don't care. You can continue on as you were. And anybody who is considering it, hopefully this can be helpful to you or any man who or woman who is monogamous and doesn't believe in it. This can simply serve as validation for you. Number one, this is my issue with polygamy. It is fueled by lust, not love. Now, some might say it's economic. I call cap. We'll get to that later. It's not a God-fearing belief either. It justifies having an open relationship or multiple sex partners. You can't control yourself. You are in a committed relationship, but you still have eyes for other women. So you convince your wife or your partner to allow the relationship to be transferred to a polyamorous one. And you use things like it'll be better economically to persuade her. But I'm not convinced. Number two, it doesn't support authentic love. Authentic love comes with a sense of overprotection and jealousy. Even God is a jealous God. May the church say amen. When you love somebody, you care who they're with. Okay? Mostly pimps don't care who their women are with. Pimps actually are not polyamorous. Pimps allow their women to be with other men for interests of money, which is economics. So someone who is claiming to be polygamous, but for the sake of economics, I call cap. Because especially if the women that you're dating don't add to the economy. If they're women you have to spend on versus they are bringing the money in, that's a big old fat cap. Okay? But I digress. We're going to move forward because, like I said, I have no intentions on changing your mind. I'm just giving my take on the matter. If you love somebody, you care who they're with, is all I'm trying to say. Number 3, most polygamous men don't want their women to have other men. And if she does, she's a 304. And she's not up to par with his lifestyle. But he'll still entertain her sexually. He just won't let her be up in the extra upper echelon of his women. But she can still be somebody that he entertains from time to time. This sounds like 304 activity. But hiding under the umbrella or the facade of being polygamous. Because polygamous sounds better than saying, hey, I'm a gigolo, spending lots of dough. So saying I'm polygamous to a woman is like saying I can commit to you and other women versus saying I have commitment issues. I don't believe in being committed. I believe in I can do whatever I want with whoever I want, but we can still have a relationship. She's probably not going to agree to those terms. She might think by hearing the word polygamy that there's more benefits out of an exchange like that. It just sounds better. Number 4, there's no cap or limitations on how many partners are actually involved because let's be real. First, I want to say that if this one man has 3 women, if you believe that these 3 women are loyal and committed to you while allowing you to have multiple partners, I call cap. But let's say, in reality, these 3 women have multiple partners. And just for sake of basic math, let's say each one of your 3 women have 3 partners. That 3 turns into 9. Of course, men are some of those partners. So now we have 12 total. But then let's say those 3, for each 3, those 9, each one of those 9 has 3. So you with those 3 and the 9 they're entertaining, and then you see how it expand. It just goes up from there. There's no way to limit or control how many people you're actually exchanging fluids with. Somebody's going to justify it again and say, oh, my woman's loyal. Someone else is going to justify it and say, oh, I use protection. As if we're not adults who know that protection doesn't do all of the work and there's no guarantees from transmitted stuff or pregnancies. I haven't even touched on the potential for having how many kids comes out and then you're taking care of a kid with one of your girls that she's had other partners, so you're not even sure if that's your kid. I digress again. Moving right along. Number 5, there's no sustainability. No woman is going to be okay with being second or third place. I don't care. I call cap. No woman is, if she is okay with it right now, it's a temporary thing. It's temporary. She is not going to be okay with being second or third to your wife or your main thing. Y'all can have the little threesomes and it's going to burn out. There's no sustainability. But guess what? Most of these men who are polygamous anyway, they're not even doing it for the sake of sustainability. They're doing it for the instant gratification of being able to have access to multiple partners without being judged or called a 304 or anything like that. Number 6, rich guys who claim they are polygamists, they're really tricks, okay, with multiple 304s, like kings with concubines. If I was to be fair about my judgment on polygamy, I would say that it's a rich man's game. You get a lot of money, and then you kind of like have access to as many women as you possibly can have, just like a king would. A king would have his queen. His queen would automatically know that he's going to take up extra wives, and he's going to take up concubines, women, while he's sitting in his king seat. And his servants bring him concubines, and they do some kind of seductive dance for him, and he lusts after them, and he determines which ones he like, and then he takes them into the room, and then he can just do whatever. It's lust. There's no love attached, no love involved. I guess moral of the story with this video and videos like this, hopefully there's other people who break it down. It's your prerogative. If you're not ready for commitment, it is what it is. I think the part that bothers me is the justification of it. See, I've played in my life, and I knew what I was doing wasn't morally correct. And I stopped. And I don't see long-term benefits from being polygamous. I see you spreading yourself thin with multiple women. And then when you get to that age where it matters that you have somebody that's by your side, you're too up in age to start dating somebody. And then you probably make a rash decision and marry someone instantly out of desperation and fear of being alone. It's going to run its course. But these men who are in their late 30s and 40s and above claiming to be polygamous, excuse me, are simply justifying their childish behavior. That's my take. I don't think there's anything that a man who is polygamous can say to me to convince me that it's responsible. Or they can say that it's economic all they want to. But there's really no justification for it. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and I said, okay, let's say you have multiple wives. And let's say you have kids with both of multiple wives. And one of your wives, as a tradition for Thanksgiving, which is right around the corner, she goes to her grandmother's house on Thanksgiving, and she wants to go there with her 2 kids that she has by you. And she wants you to come too. Now you're forced to leave one of your wives behind, or one of your women behind, to go entertain her. Or you think she gonna want you to bring the other wife and kids, or girlfriend and kids, to her parents' house so that everybody can be sitting around her looking at her like, she tripping. I wouldn't be sharing my man. And no, she didn't come up in this Christian household like that. Probably ain't gonna happen. There's no way that any man or woman who's polygamous can justify or rationalize or show me how things will happen in the long run. Show me what is the end result of being polygamous that's successful. Show me how that isn't openly creating broken homes. Because you're only one person. You can't be in more than one place at the same time. And like I said, when somebody has genuine love, it breeds jealousy by default. Now, I'm not saying jealousy is healthy, but I know that my God is jealous, as he should be. If he's the one who created me, if he's the one who loved me enough to give his only begotten son for my sins, why would he be okay with me praising other gods? Why would he be okay with me doing things that are against him? There's nothing that you can tell me to justify this behavior. Just like there's nothing I could tell you to justify my behavior when I thought it was a cool, fun thing to do by having multiple women. Just like these men who tell you that it's okay and that you actually should have multiple women because that's how you protect yourself. That's how you don't catch any feelings. That's how you stop getting your heart broke. It's childish. We have to grow up. And unfortunately, growing up isn't something that comes with age. It's something that's in the mind state. It's something that takes self-reflection. It's something that takes spirituality, spiritually being inclined and being led by something that's spiritual, having spiritual beliefs. Hey, but again, to each their own, because I didn't intend to change anyone's mind or turn anyone away from it. It's no different from having a woman who dates women. You can't tell her, oh, God don't like that, and her stop. She's going to do what she wants to do. So that wasn't my intentions anyway. But I just wanted to share my take on it in case there's people out there who are, monogamous, and people are trying to persuade them and convince them that their way of life doesn't make any sense. Hopefully this can validate your thoughts on the subject. If you like the content or it resonates with you, please give me a like, comment, or subscribe. If you want to jump in the comments and tell me how polygamy makes sense, I'm not going to respond. I'll leave that for the other people to read it because I'm not going to be persuaded or nothing like that. I don't want to hear it. But if you're new to my channel and you like the content, my name is Jerome, and this has been another episode of The Superb Word. Until next time, I hope y'all have a good one and 2 fingers, y'all.